Hello and welcome to another episode of Reach the Masses podcast. I'm Travis.
And I'm Heather.
In today's episode, we will be talking exclusively about the season finale of American Gods and playing a few more rounds of Would You Rather.
That was a big season finale.
8 episodes. It ended very strongly.
Everything happened and nothing happened.
It was enough to answer a few of the questions if you hadn't picked up on it or if you hadn't heard our podcast. I think we dropped our... I was on vacation and we dropped the podcast prior to the one that we did 2 episodes about, 6 and 7.
Yes.
We loaded that one up the day after the season finale. So if you were behind and DVR'd it and then listened to our podcast, then you could have heard some of the stuff that we predicted in a roundabout way.
Right.
Before the season finale. So this is obviously a week after the season finale. We're doing this on Sunday. We're still trying to line up our weeks.
If you haven't watched it yet, spoilers.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Thank you. I don't even think I did a spoiler alert last week.
We may have thrown one in at the last minute. I don't quite recall, though.
Well, usually we're about halfway in and then we're like, hey, spoilers!
Yeah.
You're already pissed
welcome.
and turned off this podcast, but spoilers.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's dive into it. I think last time we did say that we would try to do season 5, but we also said that if we might just talk about the season finale if it's really good, and lo and behold, it was really good. So
It was.
we may get back to Buffy eventually, but right now we're sticking to American Gods, and then later at the end of the podcast, we'll tell you about maybe some future podcasts that we'll be talking about. But let's dive into episode 8 of American Gods.
Who said righty?
We should start with a story.
Who said righty?
Once upon a time,
It is a treat to welcome you all to my home. Happy Easter, you old fraud. What the hell are you doing here?
Maybe everything is just some kind of vivid dream.
What do you believe, Shadow?
Oh, who's it righty?
Why does Shadow matter?
He needed your man. We need you to fight them, to show them who we are.
You can't fight progress.
What does Wednesday have to lose?
it's going to be a bloodbath.
What did we think?
I thought Mr. Nancy telling Bilquist's story was fantastic.
That's how it opens up.
I loved that opening. Oh, and the episode's called Come to Jesus.
Right.
And there's a lot of Jesus. 14 total.
Were there 14?
There
Did
were
you
14.
count them, or did they say
There was 14 total. They didn't say it in the episode, but if you Tumblr or if you Twitter, the information is easily accessible.
Someone else has done their research for it.
Yes, and there's a picture with Ricky Whittle and I'm gonna say 10 or 12 of them.
Okay.
Of the Jesuses.
Jesus.
Yeah, whatever the plural of Jesus is.
Maybe he's just like moose. There's Jesus and Jesus. Yeah.
And moose is moose.
Yes.
But Bilquist's story leads us through thousands of years.
Right.
At least a couple of thousand.
Well, to start off, the episode starts with Wednesday and Shadow sitting there in robes while Anansi is hemming some suits for them, and then he wants to tell them a story.
Which is what he does.
All stories are Nazi stories. And then he tells a story of Bilquist, and then that's where it starts out thousands of years ago.
And what did you think of the guy growing the horns?
Oh, with the king.
Yeah. Okay, I understand that he was growing a crown.
Yes.
But the
Symbolism?
the symbolism there,
A little too much on the nose?
yeah, which I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
But they all got turned to goo anyway.
Right. If you watch any of the other episodes, she usually just has one partner, and she just kind of
Consumes them
through them. Now, this one, she consumes them, but then there's some black, they're all having an orgy basically
Yeah.
in this big, huge pool pit.
in her temple.
And then on one end is Bilquist, and the other one is this king, and the saying that the many kings had tried to take the queen, and then it shows him being held over there. Then he makes love, and then she consumes him, and then she
consumes the rest of the folks that are in the pit.
Right, as a sacrifice and offering. And then she does well for herself, though. I mean, she comes to America, or Bilquist is in America.
Yeah. It shows her coming to America after everything happened in the late 70s in Tehran, with all the takeovers and all the stuff that went down during that time in actual history.
Right. So
she fled Tehran.
Which that goes back to differences from the book and the TV show. It's acting like there is only one.
Yeah.
But then again, later on, they're showing you there's more than
there's
one.
More,
so
yeah.
it contradicts itself.
It's just
it
a
sounds
way...
like that the Bilquist that they showed from thousands of years ago is the same one that came to America, as opposed to there being a new Bilquist in America.
Right, which is what the book does. But Neil Gaiman himself said that that's just an easier way to break it down visually for the audience, which makes sense because I mean you can relay so much more with books than you can with television.
Well, if you want to spin it this way, was that the Bilquist that came to America that was made, you could even say that there was still one that was made in America. She just has the memories of the Bilquist.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I think that's kind of implied in the book too.
Because they know their own mythology.
Yes, they know their own pasts.
Right.
And did you understand that whenever she sees that woman in the hospital, did you know what that was linking to?
No, I was going to ask you.
That was paralleling the AIDS crisis.
Okay, that's what I thought. That
Yeah.
it was something to do with AIDS, and that was a scare for everyone. And
that's where that came from, to kind of show what year it was, what was going on, and kind of show that
how she ended up where she was, which was basically in a gutter.
Yeah, and that woman kind of held that belief, and if you want to take it that way, that woman is kind of what brought Bilquist to America, because that woman came to America, and she had that belief from the club in Tehran, if you will, and so here's Bilquist now.
Right. So, but I mean, she did well for herself up until the night. You know, if you think about it, from what he's saying was that. Thousands of years ago, up until 1970, I mean, she did really well. Then she finally hit hard times in America, and then
in the 80s with the AIDS crisis.
Yes, and then that's when Techno Boy shows up, which I guess that would mean that would take place in the early 90s, when technology was really booming and the internet and all that.
That would have been the early 2000s, more than the early 90s.
Well, I mean, we had the internet.
Yeah. But we didn't have
he had the cell phone.
phone.
That's right. He had
cell phone and apps. So that
would
be
have been the early 2000s.
It was 2013. It showed it on her shoe.
Okay.
Whenever she was walking past the Ethiopian restaurant, it was 2013.
Okay.
I just remembered that.
So 2013, Tech Boy comes and offers her. It's about the numbers, and here's this big medium for you.
Yeah.
And it was the internet and like
apps, dating apps.
Yes. Which I mean, I guess with the internet as it were, she could actually have, followers like her
it's
video.
It's all about the followers.
Watching her videos and stuff like YouTube or all this stuff, and liking that and subscribing, and that could be, a form of worship for her.
Yeah. I like that they took it to the dating app. That made a lot of sense character-wise, and that it's basically a dating app built for her.
Right.
For people to worship her.
So he does this and wants a favor from her, an unknown favor later. Like, I'm going to set you up and get you back on your feet, but you owe me. And then that story comes back, and then Shadow gets the meaning all wrong.
Yeah.
Like, be careful of
who you trust.
Yeah. And then he's like, no, you got to get yourself a queen.
Yeah. Which was wonderful.
And then what happens after that?
Other things.
Other things, and then credits.
Yeah. Let's see what they. So they get their suits and they go to Kentucky,
where they're having the Easter weekend.
Yeah, where Ostara lives.
Which I think when we were saying with, because eventually the leprechaun, Mad Sweeney, and Laura Moon show up there. And when he said going to Kentucky, we just assumed the person that was going to resurrect her was Jesus.
Yeah.
But actually, it was
Ostara.
which is the springtime.
Yeah.
Which is resurrection.
Yeah. Which makes sense. And falls in line with what Wednesday shouts and says later in the episode.
Okay, well, let's stick with Shadow and Wednesday. So they show up.
Mm-hmm.
They're not welcomed at first. Wednesday's pretty much told him, we're not going to be welcomed here at first, but we will be. And then we get to meet Osara.
And she loves Shadow. Like, I loved every interaction that they had. It was so perfect, and he just looked at her like she was so magical. Like, Ricky Whittle played that perfectly. Like, he was just, like, he was completely smitten with Kristen Chenoweth.
Now,
it was fantastic.
Now, was it this episode? I mean, he started to notice there's all these different Jesuses, and then Wednesday kind of says that anytime anyone has pictured a Jesus in their head, there's a new Jesus.
Yeah. Like, there was even a Jewish Orthodox Jesus in the episode.
Yes.
He was the guy that the jelly beans were falling through his stigmata.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting just to see Osara being kind of like den mother to all these
to all the Jesus.
Yes, like, oh, it's okay, it's our day, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I think it's where, is it this episode where Shadow's like, well, then who are you? And then Wednesday again tells him, like, you wouldn't believe me.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Okay.
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
So while Wednesday is courting Osara to kind of join his army, Shadow is off walking around, and then the Mad Sweeney and Laura show up, and then they talk to Osara.
Wait. It is worth mentioning here, they are in an ice cream truck still.
Oh, yeah, they're still in the ice cream truck.
And Mad Sweeney is covered head to toe in, like, blankets.
And a sleeping bag.
And sleeping bags. Like, even though that thing turned on its side and there was a wreck, like, the air conditioning still worked.
I don't see how it would work, but...
Yeah. Laura was still she'd gotten a little more rotten, if you want to say that.
Yes, because she still has, her chest is still open. She's wearing that red.
Mm-hmm. And when Ostara took the hairpin from her hair and put it on her suture where it was open, I was like, that made me the best thing I've seen in a while. Like, because it was subtle, it wasn't overt. It was just like they're talking, they're doing their lines.
We forgot one of the best parts: the bunnies.
Oh yes, all those bunnies.
All those bunnies when Shadow and Wednesday pulled up, there were all these bunnies. And then whenever something would happen, Osara would be talking to someone, a bunny would come up and she'd like lean over and talk to it and like,
oh shit,
I gotta go. So that was just really fun.
Holy shit! Oh shit!
That was really funny. And then
they pooped the jelly beans, which was fantastic.
Yes, that's right.
But then there were like roasted bunnies too. Like, did you notice that you could eat? I was like, I don't know how those bunnies feel about the dead bunnies. And do they care?
A gig's a gig, I guess.
Yeah.
But then Osara goes, and this is where we get some good plot points, is that she goes to Laura and says, I can resurrect you, and then she starts looking.
Mm-hmm. Pulls her into the bathroom to take a better look into her eyes.
Because they show the last image she's seen before she died, which was Mad Sweeney.
Yeah.
And then she looks a little bit farther and says that I can't resurrect you because you were killed by a god.
You were sacrificed to
a god.
Yeah.
There's some resurrections I can't do. And that pisses off Laura, and she takes it out on Mad Sweeney. And then...
takes it out. That's very polite.
Yes. Lifts him up to her height, which I say she's, like 5'5"?
Maybe.
I mean, she seems very short. But she's lifting him up to her eye level, by the crotch, and squeezing. And then he eventually tells her that it was Wednesday that sacrificed. And all this was happening. While all this is happening, he cuts back and forth. Mm-hmm. It goes back to Shadow, and he has a moment with one of the Jesuses.
Yeah, because
Which-
this is where
Which I thought that was really funny when the Jesus was on the pool, like
Yeah,
Indian
hanging
style.
out
and then he
on the
sets the
pool.
drink on the thing and it sinks all the way down.
He's like, damn it. Yeah, that was white Jesus. Like, he's really the only Jesus that had any real lines, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was the white Jesus.
yeah,
Typical.
which I thought it was. The actor that played him was
Mm-hmm.
on another show called Justified, and he was this really big redneck.
Yes.
That walked with a limp.
I love that actor, and anything I've ever seen him in, I love him.
But in any event, he was a minor character in Justified, though. His name was Dickie Bennett
Dickie Bennett.
in Justified, and he was like in there for like a season, and then he played like a few guest spots here and there afterwards. But anyway, then we get to see Gillian Anderson.
Yes.
Character, TV.
And
shows
she is dressed as Judy Garland from Easter Parade. I had to look that up because I didn't know who she was.
Who her character was.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't either.
And the tech guys that are with her are representing Fred Astaire, who was also in the film.
Oh, okay.
And actually, whenever she opens the door, when Ostara opens the door, Gillian Anderson basically quotes one of the songs from Easter Parade that Judy Garland sings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like her lines talking about the heart beating faster, and I couldn't wait to get dressed or whatever.
Right.
Like that
Very
comes
clever.
That comes directly from that movie.
Very nice. Because it's one of the faceless. The tech things is what she's talking about. Is one of those
Yeah.
faceless.
The ones that
things.
multiply and then get shot down by lightning in a
Which is
blaze of glory.
But she shows up and wants to know about Wednesday, which part of what Wednesday is pitching to Osara is, let's show them what being gods really are,
Yeah.
what it means to hunger, and because these new gods don't know what it means to actually have to fight for prayer and sacrifice.
Right, and it all goes back to that who invented whom, and he said there's always been a God-shaped hole in man's head, and it was first filled with trees, which in any ancient religion class I've ever taken, that's basically true. But he doesn't just like try to convince Ostara to come to his side. Like he really lies. Like he really lays it on
'Cause
thick.
he brings up what happened to Vulcan.
Yeah.
And that they killed Vulcan.
Yeah.
Because to show you proof, because they killed him because he made me this
The sword, yeah.
and because as to pledge our pact together, because he did that. That's why they killed him.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, like he really just laid it on so thick.
And then Osara, when Gillian Anderson, the TV god, media shows up, she's kind of hesitant. She doesn't act like she normally does with all the other guests. She's a little bit nervous, it seems like. And then she lies and says that Wednesday already left. And,
But are you saying Ostara was nervous?
yes.
I think she had yet to really, truly pick a side.
Right.
Or if she had, then I think that nervousness may have came from her really thinking about what Wednesday had said, despite it being lies. She didn't know that.
Yes.
And I think she was really contemplating, well, he's right. They don't worship me. Like, I'm
Which he did the
just
thing from the book.
celebrated.
He did the thing from the book that I was hoping that they would do, where he was talking about how many people, if I go up to them, would know about your sacrifice.
Yes.
And he talks about the rituals and all of that, and and she's like, well, and then she gets mad because then she says it's their day, our day, it's my day.
Yeah.
So she's starting to kind of see what Wednesday is showing, is that maybe there is something to this. And then there is a confrontation there at the very end. And then we finally, basically what happens is media shows up, media's there, and then the tech boy shows up, and then Mr. World shows up through like an avatar of one of the
Tech
faceless goons.
Yeah.
And basically tells Wednesday that you are an ancient relic. You can either join us or not, and then die. Or if you don't join us, you'll die out. If you fight us, we will kill you, and you'll die anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You lose either way, and we win.
So, do you think they're going to take it the way they took it in the book? Like, do you think that it's going to be what it was in the book? That both of them are just playing everybody?
I hope so.
I do too. Like, I'm
That's-
worried that
that's-
they're not.
That's really, I think that would be really bad if they didn't do it
Yeah.
that way. Which I was going to mention that was something that was very different in the book is Bilquis, but we can get back to Bilquis in a second. But basically, we finally get to see. He looks over at Shadows and is like, "Do you want to know? Do you believe?" And Shadows finally, after seeing all this again and everything that's happened, Shadows finally understanding and believes. And then
He's open. He's now open to believe.
He's opening to believe, and then Ian McShane does an awesome job of introducing himself.
Yeah. That was an amazing introduction. To have been in a show all season and not have introduced yourself, not really.
Right. Which he
That
did,
just-
and I think that's what I was talking about the last podcast. We told you who he was.
Yeah.
If you hadn't figured it out yet, it was Odin.
Yeah.
He was Odin, and he brings it. Mm-hmm. And I think that was something that I thought should have been in the book.
Yeah.
Was that he really drawed some power? Like he brought what Heather mentioned earlier. Like before he does it, he says this is sacrifices for Osara.
Yeah.
Is on behalf of Osara, and then he brings down some lightning and kills all those henchmen.
Yeah.
And you don't really see that display at all in the book.
Yeah,
There's
there's no
no
real-
display of power. Like
yeah.
he's an old god and everyone respects him, but you never see like he can still bring it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
You don't. That's not really in the
And
book.
I like that part of the show where that he brought it.
Yeah.
It's already been brought in.
It's already been brought in.
Like he brought the thunder and the lightning down. And
Yeah.
it was really awesome. And that gives you like, and I can see why they did that in a TV show because it makes him like, okay, he actually is a threat to these new gods.
Yeah.
Like he could do that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't.
can
It
do
didn't
things.
even like he was, trying.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't like he was straining to do that. He did it.
Yeah. I was listening to somebody talk about it, and they were like, "But lightning isn't even one of Odin's powers."
Sigh.
Yeah. So
Wait, isn't he Zeus now?
yeah, I mean, he could. No, he's just not.
Zeus doesn't own.
Wednesday. Wednesday is his day.
And he literally said, "I'm Odin."
Yeah. But
Zeus
but,
doesn't own the rights to all lightning-based
Yeah.
things.
But somebody in rebuttal to that said, "But his son does."
Right.
Talking about Thor.
Well, I was wondering because in the mythology, Odin has a spear, and it's interesting that he's got a sword. Like he's got a spear that,
Yeah.
whenever it always hits its mark, whenever it's thrown, whatever he wants to hit. So I'm wondering if that's going to play in. Like there's all this
Right.
mythology about Odin
Yeah, that could
that could happen. Like
that could be used.
that. The reason it cost him his eye was for all this knowledge and wisdom. So
Like, how are they going to do it? We need to know now.
we want to know. So basically they have that standoff, and basically that's what finally turns Osara
Yeah.
for Odin, and she takes because he was wanting to like
And he sacrificed that in Ostara's name, those guys, which gave her some power. And then she did the thing.
where she took spring.
Yeah.
Like it shows her, and everything that was blooming just goes whoop, back in.
She took the spring away.
And basically, Odin says, if you want the spring, you'll have to start worshiping
Yeah.
us.
Which, I mean, that's a damn powerful thing to do.
Yeah, I mean that definitely sides things. And this is totally going different from
Yeah.
the book.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's totally different. And that's what I was going to say about Bilquis, is that in the book, this is spoiler for the book, she already adapted and was doing the phone thing and like meeting people and surviving that way. And then the tech boy kills her.
Yeah.
And it was just like a random.
That's right. I'd forgotten that she.
It wasn't
It
even
was-
like he was trying to recruit her. I don't think.
No,
Like,
he was
picks
just
her
he was
up.
like, "You're an old god. You're dead."
Yeah, you're.
There
Yeah,
there was none of this. Come to our side. Let's play off.
right.
There wasn't any of that. It was like the old gods kind of they laid low. They did their own thing, and they were left alone.
And that was kind of stirring it up by
Yeah.
having him, the tech god,
Yeah.
kill Bilquis. Mm-hmm. And that's how that happens. And it's totally different from the, you
Yeah.
know, in the book. That's how it happened. And in the TV show, she's recruited.
Yes.
And that's kind of, well, what happens, that's the very tail end. But then after all that display, and like basically saying war's happening, you look up, and Laura, from where she found out it was Odin, because she was going to, you know, exact some revenge,
Yeah.
shows up, and it's like, we need to talk.
Yeah. She was
And
like, "I need to have a word with my husband."
so there's Shadow, and then throughout this episode, Mad Sweeney says, you know, Shadow was nobody. He was just a fall guy. It wasn't
Right.
And that Odin even interfered with their robbery so that Shadow would get arrested and
Lose it all.
so that he would become his guy. Which I know what you were saying earlier before we did this podcast was like, well, then there was someone that you read a review that is like,
Yeah.
oh, well, Shadow's everybody.
Yeah. He's the viewer.
But I don't think, and this is my opinion from reading the book, but just
Yeah.
not even reading the book, even if they don't even go that route of what happens to Shadow in the book, there has to be more to Shadow. Because why would Odin go through such great lengths just to get some random guy to
Right.
be his bodyguard as
Yeah.
opposed to getting someone else to be his bodyguard?
Somebody he's kin to, perhaps.
Yes, someone, anything or anyone like that. He could have gotten anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, he could have paid someone to do it if that's all he needed was someone to drive him around.
Yeah.
So there has to be more to the Shadow
And I mean,
character.
yeah, and Shadow, he can think snow. He can do things. That should give people a clue right there as to the hopefully the direction they will go in. Will they? I don't know.
We hope that they will.
Again, we need season 2.
But then the
So-
tail end of the episode is showing Bilquist, where she's being recruited for her favor from the tech guy, and it shows her on a bus driving to the house on the rock,
The House on the Rock, yeah.
which is, what state was that?
I don't remember what state that's in.
I think it was like Minnesota or Wisconsin or something
Yeah,
like that.
it's one of those.
But it shows her driving to that, which was going to be in the book. It's one of the meeting places that Odin has with the old gods.
Yes.
And that's where he's recruited the god of death from Chicago that we met to show up.
Chernobog.
Chernobog, yes. To go meet for his gathering.
Which I'm very excited to see.
Which, if you read the book, I mean, we're not even
No.
far into the book,
No.
and we've went a whole season.
Yes, they've adapted very small portions. So I mean, they can really drag this out for a while.
I mean-
if they keep going at the pace they're going.
I mean, especially if they do everything with Shadow in that town and all that. If
Which
they,
I so hope they do because I love the character of Sam.
they throw
It's one of my
that.
favorite characters.
They throw. I mean, they pretty much put a halt to the main story, and they just focus on this town for the most part. In the book, he goes to this. I can't remember the name of the town because I keep thinking of the town that he was in, like Eagle Rock.
Yeah. Eagle
But-
Point.
Eagle Point, yeah. But he goes to this town and he stays there, and then it talks about him leaving with Wednesday to go recruit more gods, but that's more background noise as he's
Yeah.
adapting to the life of this small town, and it's really good. But I mean, you could do a whole season just
On him and in that town.
Yeah,
And like occasionally popping off with Wednesday to go do whatever.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot that could be done with that, and I would look.
And the whole thing in Cairo, as it were. Mm-hmm. I mean, he spends time there.
There's a lot that they can go through, and then, like I said, even I think I mentioned on the previous podcast that Neil Gaiman's done 3 short stories of Shadow stories after this book is ended, and then, from what I understand, he is writing a sequel to it, or it's in the back burner on his.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, that he's got
pro-
something in the works.
But overall, we would say this season was good. Any other thoughts or comments?
Oh, Shadow telling Ostara how he got his name.
Yes,
which is
that was
something from the book.
Which is from the book, yes, where he said that he was his mom's little shadow. No one ever saw him.
Yeah. So I liked that they included that. That was something nice from the books. That was just a small detail that is a throwaway detail if you haven't read the book or you don't want to read the book.
I think everything that for the most part, everything that they've changed from the book has been, for the most part, positive, or you can, I can get behind. It's not like that was stupid. Why would they even do that?
Yeah.
Except, again, I think we talked about it. We have the episode 4 with Laura. I don't like how they've done Laura before she died. She seems to be more interesting now that she's dead.
Well, Ostara said being dead gets a bad rap, and I guess occasionally it does.
So, in the book, Easter was just barely mentioned once, but it sounds like she's going to be a major player.
That's what I'm thinking,
season.
since she's going to be the queen.
Yeah, his queen.
His queen. I'm very excited to. Also, we were talking about stuff that they could do in the future. The Native American
aspect.
Yes, I am so excited. I want to see that on screen. That will be so awesome.
The rock feathers, was that one or something to that effect? It was some sort of like Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds, yeah,
Thunderbirds. Yes. Yeah.
You'd think I would remember that, and you should too, because you drove a Thunderbird for years.
It was my favorite car. Well, it was my first car that wasn't a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
So, any other? I know you've got some good notes there. So,
let's see.
Anything else to stand out?
Interesting parallel between Bilquis and Ostara. Both of them take back their power for different reasons and in different ways.
Right.
I liked that.
And I think we talked about her taking the spring, but it was so well done with Ostara, and she was like she was, happy, like kind of like a happy hostess.
Yeah.
Through all of it, but then you actually feel like you saw her.
Yeah.
When she was in her
came
element.
into herself
After, like, she let her hair down.
Yeah.
And it was all it was all good after that.
And speaking of of Ostara and that parallel, this episode was co-written and directed by women.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which with everything going on with Wonder Woman and everything, like that's deserves a little recognition.
Which I did see this while I was on vacation with my wife.
Yeah, you finally got to watch it.
And it was a very good movie. We could probably do a podcast on Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we could do several. I wouldn't mind. And I've never been Superman has always been my superhero, so I can't say that I'm like this big Wonder Woman fan. But I mean, that movie really just was very, very good.
Yes.
And,
and it wasn't just and as a male, I mean, it was a very good movie, and it wasn't just because it was a woman and she was doing, empowering things. She was, but it was still a good story. It was well done. It was what a good superhero movie needed to be.
Yeah.
And
that's one of the best things I've seen about it. It's it was a good superhero movie.
Now, what typically happens is what you get, and I'll start this side first, and then I'll go to the other side.
Okay.
Was that you'll get, like Avengers.
Yeah.
Like the first Avengers and Iron Man 2 introduce you to Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Great character in Avengers. She had some good moments. Joss Whedon did her justice. And then you get, have you watched Avengers 2,
yes.
Age of Ultron, where you get her sad story, and you get kind of like that. Like, she has to have some sort of motivation or some sad, some sad thing, and you feel sorry for her.
She can't just be motivated by justice and wanting to do good.
Right.
Like
something traumatic happened to her.
She has to be a woman with trauma.
Right. And then, or you get the other thing where it's very empowering to women, but they belittle men.
Yeah.
And not to say, and that's what I'm saying, go jump to the other side. There's plenty of times where men are belittling women, superheroes, and all that. I mean, that's the standard.
Yeah.
But this story did an excellent job of empowering women, but not belittling men.
No, it was a story of equals.
Everyone had their roles, everyone had their job, and they did it, and they couldn't have done it without each other.
Yeah.
And yes, Wonder Woman was the powerhouse, but there was scenes where she needed them and they needed her.
Yeah.
It was a good trade-off between the characters, and that's how it should be.
like it is with the Marvel boys, the Avengers,
boys.
with the Marvel boys.
The Marvel
That's how it is
boys.
the Avengers. You know, they all need each other in some way, but for the most part, it is a boys' club.
Right.
And why is Tony Stark in like everything now?
Because he kicked off the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man 1, and
Okay.
then he's very popular, and the fans love it every time he's in anything.
Like, I don't want him to be in Spider-Man.
Homecoming, depending on how much he's in it,
Yeah.
I like that it's making it
Well,
a
and
universe.
like he does
because
the
Spider-Man's
suit.
back in.
He does the suit and everything. Like, I don't know. It just seems like it
Now, in
takes
the
away
comics-
some of the organicness.
Well, now in the comics, there is a storyline where Tony Stark builds Peter
Spider.
Parker. It's called the Iron Spider-Man suit, Iron Spider suit, and it has like talons and stuff, and it's more high tech than what you see in Homecoming. Which
Yeah.
I'm okay with all that, but it depends on how much. Obviously we haven't seen it. How much Tony Stark is in the movie
Right.
is where I.
Like the last Captain America movie, I was my
Civil
son and I
War?
both. Yeah, and Captain America is my son's. Like, that's his man. That's his superhero. And I hated that movie. I was like, this is just way too much. Like,
Too much world building.
yeah, too much Tony Stark. Like, you do shitty things all the time, but
Well-
you're gonna judge this guy for wanting to save his friend. Like,
Well, I think Tony is, Tony is going to be a big part of the cinematic universe right now. But after these next two Avengers movies, he's probably not going to be in anything after that.
oh yeah,
Because they're trying. Everyone's contract's over after this next one's Avengers, and I think Chris Evans, who's playing Captain America, he likes the character and everything, but I think he wants to do more roles.
Right,
And
yeah.
those contracts, you're locked in, and you can't
Right.
do that. So I don't think he.
and they take a lot of time to film, don't they? And they have to do reshoots, especially like if something gets more popular while it comes out, then they go back and they change things.
And then
And
this is kind of when you're talking about the Marvel boys. This is what the formula usually is, or at least that's how it has been so far. Is that when you have a team up, there's all guys, and there's usually like one female.
yeah,
And that's
the
how
token
it's,
lady.
and that's how it's going to be with Justice League.
Yeah.
They're all guys, and then there's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But I'm just hoping that they're not going to do.
Well,
they're
from
not
what
gonna
I've seen, that they're doing the reshoots, they're gonna base it more around Wonder Woman since she,
Hit it big.
yeah, since she came out so popular.
Well, see,
and
I don't know why they didn't do that already, because Batman v Superman was a big pile of crap. But the things that you hear that you loved about Batman v Superman was the Batman scene. Have you seen it?
yeah, I've seen it.
The Batman in the warehouse scene,
Yeah.
where he takes out those bad guys.
Yeah,
That was like, that's Batman. Oh my god.
yeah,
And everything with Wonder Woman,
yeah.
especially that one scene, like that just encapsulates the character so much, is when she fights Doomsday and he knocks her back, and she's like hits the wall, and then
Yeah.
she smirks, and then
yeah.
she goes right back.
in. Yeah, man, and those cellos come in, and those drums.
Yeah,
It gives me chills just thinking about it.
So
They did a damn good job with that music.
they did. That was what everyone was talking about, was Wonder Woman's performance, and then so she gets her movie,
Yeah,
and I guess, and again, Hollywood was not wanting to. This has become a Wonder Woman podcast.
apparently.
So they were very reserved about that, and I think, I don't know if I talked to you about it, that I read or heard from someone when they were talking about it, was that there were no articles, like all these indie directors that had a really big hit indie film, and then they gave them like a big huge blockbuster.
Yeah.
They did it, and whether or not they did good or bad, there were no articles before the movie about like, is the studio crazy for giving this indie director this huge movie budget,
Right.
except for Wonder Woman, because Patty Jenkins, the director,
Yeah.
had the indie hit, which was Monster, which was Charlize Theron, and got her an Oscar. That's
Yeah.
not like it was just like some indie. It was an Oscar-worthy movie.
Yeah.
They put out lots of articles about, is Warner Brothers crazy for giving Patty Jenkins an indie, and they were disguising it as quote unquote indie director, as
Right, but
in
really it was female director. Yeah.
And what I heard from, maybe it was on Tumblr, maybe it was something like that, like Patty Jenkins was supposed to do Thor 2. And she stated that she pulled out of Thor 2 because she saw there was a lot of problems with Thor 2. And Thor 2 is an okay movie.
Yeah, I barely recall it, but I'm sure that it was.
It's an okay movie. But if she had done it, they would have blamed her, as opposed to what happened with Thor 2 when it did badly. They just said,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's a studio issues, they
Right,
interfered."
yeah.
So she had to pick her movie,
Yeah.
because she knew that if the movie did bad, every Hollywood in the collective
Right.
sense would have blamed
Her.
her,
It
as
would have been
opposed
on
to
Patty Jenkins,
as
yeah.
opposed to every other male director who does a superhero movie that's bad. They go, "Oh, it was studio interference." There's all these
Yeah.
other reasons other than the director.
Right.
So she had to pick her battle, and she
Yeah.
picked Wonder Woman, and she picked
She
well.
knocked it out of the park. Yeah.
So I think hopefully from this we will get more, and I'm all for it. And I've noticed, I mean, in the last year or two, there's been a lot more strong female characters in
Right.
movies. I've noticed. I mean, there's still more. I mean, there's still some of the male stuff. But I
Right.
mean, there's still like
Yeah, because we kind of passed up the glory days of like Xena and Buffy, and like moved on to. I really can't even think of anything that kind of equaled either of those shows, female lead wise, that
may
wasn't
be.
like soapy.
yeah.
I mean,
There may be some out there, and we just never watched it. And if
Right.
you do, let us know.
Supernatural kills off like every woman that is ever on there. Their mother once, even.
Right.
So
But in the world of movies here lately, there's been a lot more female leads that have been strong. I mean,
Mm-hmm. what
you
is
know,
that new Charlize Theron movie coming
Atomic
out?
Blonde is
Yes,
what I mentioned. She
yeah.
looks like it's going to be a really, and it takes place in the early '90s, because they're talking about right before the wall falls.
Oh, okay.
So that's where it takes place, in Germany, before the wall falls.
Okay.
They're trying to find a spy. So,
So it's-
that's
so it's
why
late
that one
80s.
trailer, it was like she's putting in like a tape deck.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it takes place back in the
In
late
the-
'80s.
in the late 80s, yeah.
Early '90s, yeah. Before the wall in Germany fell. But
And those fight scenes that I've seen on YouTube and stuff,
Oh,
holy
yeah.
crap!
And then, like we've had with Star Wars, we've had Star Wars, both the last Star Wars, the Rogue One, we had the lead character be a female.
Yeah.
And but they were both done really well. Force Awakens more so with Rey.
Yeah.
She did a really good job. I mean, so we're getting there. Hopefully, it's not going to be like a backlash, and they're going to be like, "Oh, there's all these women."
Yeah. Oh no! Girls everywhere.
Okay, so
Not that would be my worst nightmare.
American Gods. We're back on American Gods.
Yeah. Back on topic.
So all that said to say, American Gods was great.
Yeah. She took away the spring. Laura wants to have a word with her husband.
And Bilquis is heading to
The House on the Rock.
to do something.
Yeah.
To be as a double agent, if you will, or a
Yeah.
secret agent, or undercover for.
Now I just want to play Secret
Gods.
Agent Man.
Secret agent. All right, so that will. I mean, is there anything else that you had on your notes?
No, I think we covered basically everything. Oh, I wanted to say the Saint Nick thing. How
Oh.
Saint Nick took the deal. He's Santa Claus because
Right,
Saint
having to
Nicholas's
share
Day was actually December 6th, and
Where media was trying to convince Osara.
Yeah,
that
to,
Saint Nick took it, and now he shares it with him.
Yeah.
On Christmas.
now he shares it with the Jesuses.
Right.
So, I thought that was a fun little kick in there that people may not have noticed.
All right, so that will do it for American Gods. We will obviously, when the second season shows up, we will continue this.
Yes, we will be right
episode
on that.
review. We're going to be doing some other things. We will be reviewing kind of like what we just did. We kind of just went on a riff about Wonder Woman and movies in general.
Yeah.
We kind of want that in general discussion type thing.
A little spontaneity.
We will also, maybe the next one, we will finally continue with Buffy, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we might also just start with some book reading.
Maybe do some book reviews and recommendations and things we like, and
Things that you should read
Yeah.
if you haven't.
maybe you should tell us things that we should read
Right. Some
that maybe we haven't.
reach the masses, read recommendations.
Yes.
But so for moving from that, we will go to our game of Would You Rather. So we will do another, 4 rounds? Seems to be
Sure.
pretty standard.
I'll do 4.
And I'll go first this time, I guess.
All right.
Okay. And you've properly shuffled them.
I have throughout the entire podcast, just about.
Okay, so I will do the first one.
All right.
Okay. Here you go.
Okay.
I may have to edit this one. All right. Would you rather give up sex to become a billionaire or be sexually active but live in poverty?
You know, this is not fair.
I know. I've got to answer the question too. Here's my answer while Heather wrings her hands in sweat. And, I will go. I'll just jump in and say mine will be. I'm already doing the second one. Not that you all want to know too much about it, but yes, I'm poor and all that. So
Okay.
I don't think I could.
Sex with other people, right? Like, can we?
It just says sexually active, so yes, sex with other people,
Okay, well
but be in poverty.
then I would go for the money, because I don't need another person in the room.
It says give up sex, so I would assume that would mean
Another person being involved.
yes, that would mean two to tango.
Okay, so yeah, I would. Money. I need money.
As we've established from the first
I am a
round,
poor student. I need money.
as we've firmly established from the first time we played Would You Rather, we go with the greed option.
Yes.
I'm not. I'm going to stick with what I've got. I will stick with being active and living in poverty.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
My question.
Okay. Would you rather set up your office workspace in a ball pit or in a bouncy house? We go from one extreme to the other.
I would go with ball pit because I feel like I could keep things a little bit more organized in a ball pit than a bouncy house. I don't know if anyone's in there with me. If someone's in there with me, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But if I had to choose, gun to my head, I would guess a ball pit. Because a bouncy house, if I get up, I could maybe move stuff on a ball pit better than and get away from it.
And you can always attach stuff with like Velcro to your body that you need to keep up with if you're in a ball pit so you don't drop it.
I know you just randomly read that, but you've given that way more thought than you should have. And this was totally random, just read it off the card.
That was the first thing I thought. It was
It's like, you could just do Velcro.
Like Velcro, you could attach like, you know.
You can't do that in a bouncy house?
I mean, I guess you could, but like your whole desk and everything, like in a bouncy house would move.
Yes.
Whereas like, you know.
Well, it says office. We'll see. I'm used to just like, you know, your office stuff, not necessarily having a desk. But yeah, if you had a desk, bouncy would be better because you could just move the balls away. Bouncy house, yeah, you
Be
move
like,
and if you don't get to it a certain way, it'll shift and the desk. and
Yeah,
everything
plus
will
all the
fall.
inner ear stuff. Ugh, no.
Okay, so we both do bouncy house.
Ball pit.
We both don't do bouncy house and do ball pit. All right. Okay, so would you rather belch swarms of flies or burp out tiny ghosts that smell like bologna and take a week to evaporate?
Flies. Flies. I'll go with the flies.
That was the most random. Oh my god! Like they just took
Like
a bunch of words in a bag and like picked them out randomly.
They had my 10-year-old son do that one. I swear they did.
Burp out tiny ghosts that smell like bologna.
Smell like bologna.
And take a week to evaporate. So whenever you burp, it's not like it's uncontrollable. So you know,
Right, it'd
how
just
often
be-
how often do you burp?
Yeah.
But every time you do, either you would have fly. I just kind of did it right now. There'd be flies coming out of my
Yeah.
mouth, or there'd be a little ghost. Well, does the ghost talk? Does he tell you
could
things?
Could he be my companion for the week?
Anywho. I'm a ghost.
Like Casper hanging out.
And then if it's really annoying, you're stuck with it for a week.
Yeah.
Until and then what happens if you burp more in that week? Then you've got like a
Multiple
swarm.
bologna smelling ghosts.
Which I guess with a belch of swarm of flies, you can run outside and stick your head out
Yeah,
and then
and
it
they-
goes out. But
yeah.
I guess you can do that with a ghost too and just close the door.
Yeah. But he's a ghost, so maybe he could come through the door.
I don't know. It's so random. So what's your answer? Swarm of flies?
Flies all the way.
I'm going to go with flies because, yes, you can stick your head out,
yeah.
birch out the flies, and then that's the most random string of words I've heard. All right, you're up.
All right. Let's see. Ooh, this one is good for me. Would you rather never get a hangover again but hate the taste of alcohol, or enjoy alcohol but pass out after one drink?
So the choice is never get a hangover, but you would hate the taste of alcohol.
Right. Which is most people anyway.
Or love the drink, but pass out after what? So you'd be literally a lightweight.
Yeah.
I would go with the first one. Because if you love something,
Yeah.
then you would want to do it a lot, and then it would suck to pass out after one,
Yeah.
one drink and you're out. If you never get a hangover, that's great, but you would hate the taste. So, but if I don't
You can
drink,
disguise that.
yeah, you can mix in with stuff.
Yeah.
But if I'm not losing anything, like, I'm not a drinker anyway, so it's not like, oh, well, I would drink and never get a hangover, which was really weird. When I turned 21, I was unable to get drunk.
That is weird.
The one time, like, we're going to go get you drunk. And we went out, and they gave me, like, way more alcohol than I've ever drunk before. Because that was my first time drinking. And I never got drunk. And then since then, I have drunk way less and gotten drunk off of that. But that first night, I don't know if it was the adrenaline or just, like, the celebration. And
Could be.
And I never...
Yeah.
And I wasn't, like, eating tons of bread or anything. It was just, I could not get drunk on my 21st birthday, which I guess that would be a would you rather,
Yeah.
never get drunk on your birthday.
Yeah.
But I would say I would hate to love something and then not be able to enjoy it because you would faint, which I guess that would be a really easy way of going to sleep at night if you had insomnia.
Yeah.
Just,
That would be perfect.
I'm out. So what would you pick? I would choose the hangover.
I would choose the hangover too.
Okay, because you can just mix it with other drinks. And
Yeah.
it'd be fun.
I drink cough syrup and I hate that shit, so. You're awfully silent with a smirk. What do you read?
Gosh, what did I do? Okay.
What you reading?
I don't want to answer. I don't even want to say it. Okay. Here you go. Would you rather wear nothing but a thong to work
Okay.
or perform a strip tease in front of total strangers?
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
I know.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Does it say just a thong? Because let's
nothing but a thong to work. So
okay.
you are topless.
I was going to play the semantics game there, but I guess I can't.
Topless. Nothing. No.
You know what? Me naked, not pretty. So I would just wear the thong to work. Be like, look at all this cellulite. You like cottage cheese? What would you pick?
I don't know. Because if you say perform a strip tease, that doesn't mean you have to get naked.
Right. It's just a tease. But you're in front of, like...
Total strangers.
Yeah.
And
strangers aren't always strangers forever.
I say if I did a strip tease, those total strangers would leave. Quickly. So... I would probably do I would just do the striptease.
You would just do the striptease?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have to get completely naked. I can just be like,
And you saw half a belly button. You're done.
There you go.
You have been teased.
You want more? You ain't getting. All right. So my last one.
Oh
wait, no, that was mine.
I was
so
like,
it's
I
yours.
got two left.
You got two. It's your turn. Sorry.
All right. Would you rather? Oh God. Be solely
These are
responsible.
starting to get better. These are like, these are so easy, and now it's a little bit harder.
Yeah. Okay. Would you rather be solely responsible for a house full of babies or a theme park full of dinosaurs?
Theme park full of dinosaurs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't even. No, there was no hesitation. A house full of babies is just wrong on several levels. I would assume since it's a theme park full of dinosaurs, they're in their cages and they're fine, and there's people to help me. House full of babies. There's not enough people.
There's not enough people in the world.
The math don't add up. Life finds a way. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Would you rather be terrified of furniture or soap?
Furniture.
You would rather be afraid of furniture?
Yeah, I need soap.
But furniture includes bed,
Hey,
couch, chairs. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I don't know what my answer is yet.
I'd
Was
rather
TV
be.
considered furniture, or is it just?
No, that's
goes
an
with
electronic.
furniture? Goes with furniture. I'd say no.
I would no. I want soap. I can't go all Roman style. Like I need my soap. I don't need spices and water.
Okay.
And
Debating on what my answer would be. I'm just trying to think of a workaround other than soap. Like, shampoo isn't soap.
it's soap for your hair.
No, it's not. They don't say shampoo, it's soap for your hair. It's shampoo.
It's just soap for your hair.
No, it's not. It's totally different. It's called shampoo.
You wash, rinse, repeat, but not too much.
I guess I would do furniture as well. I mean, you can still put on deodorant. But furniture, it can only go so far. Okay, so that was my last one. So your last one will be...
Okay, speaking of deodorant,
Okay.
would you rather have your armpit double as an office stapler or your mouth double as the office paper shredder? What?
So people would stuff paper down my throat.
Yeah.
Where would it come out at?
It wouldn't. Like, you'd have to go have part of your colon removed, most likely.
Well, I mean, and then it comes out the other end there.
Yeah. Your low back? I don't know.
I don't know. The armpit one.
Yeah, that would be cool as shit.
You know,
Yeah.
just stick it under your arm and staple it. Then you couldn't put anything under your arm because it would staple,
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah,
Like
that's
you couldn't do like what was it, the Mary Catherine Gallagher?
Yeah, it's-
When I'm nervous, put my hands under my arms like this, and then I smell them.
Okay. Now, yeah, that's... Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were some interesting would you rathers. I think that will end it for this week. Next time we meet, this was episode 7,
Yes.
so we're getting close to 10 episodes.
The big 10.
Find us. There's lots of places to find us. We are on YouTube, Tumblr.
Yeah, we now have a Tumblr.
We're on Twitter. Where else are we?
Tumblr, Twitter. We have Gmail. We're on iTunes.
On Tunes.
We're on archive.org.
Yes, you can
we're
download us from there.
And you said YouTube.
Yes.
And all you have to do is search Reach the Masses.
And we come up.
Yep. We'll pop right up there for you.
And we want to hear from you. Like our podcast. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Tell us what we're doing right. Do you agree with anything we say? Do you disagree? Why do you disagree? We want to hear from you.
Let us know what you thought about the season finale or Wonder Woman.
Exactly. Did you agree? Do we feel like women are getting a bad rap in Hollywood, or do you feel like it's where it should be? Which it's totally not. But let us know. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from the people who are listening to this. So just give us a shout out. Next time we meet, we will either be talking about Buffy, or we will be doing book reviews or something else.
Yeah.
We're trying to be fluid with it, so we'll see what happens. We don't want to put ourselves in a certain box of what we're doing. We want to try to keep this as fluid as possible.
Let us know what you would rather do. I mean, babies,
That didn't sound
dinosaurs. Yeah, no. Like, would you rather take care of babies?
On the would you rathers, were we wrong on our answers?
Yeah,
Should
like-
we have taken care of a house full of babies as opposed to a park full of
Yeah.
dinosaurs?
Do you think a stapling armpit is a good thing?
Yeah. So let us know. Until then, we will see you next time. Until then, I'm Travis.
And I'm Heather.